Hey guys, it's Carrie and Zach here from the Coffee and KO's crew. And Zach, I got a question for you. You ever wake up on a Sunday morning and think, man, I'll cook the family some breakfast this morning?
Yeah, time or two.
Have you ever noticed how you throw the sausage links up on the griddle to one side, you throw the eggs up on the griddle to the other side? You never cook them touching.
No, you don't ever want them to touch. It's weird.
Yeah, I agree, man. And it got me to thinking, why do we do that with our underwear?
I have no idea. That's a really good question.
Yeah, I think it is too. But let me tell you, fellas, Sheath has solved that problem. They have come out with men's underwear with not one, but two pockets to keep your eggs and sausage separated.
Thank goodness. This has been a problem for way too long. I can't believe it took, I'm 26 years old, 26 years at least, to come up with something so intelligent. The material is great. Everything about Sheath underwear is amazing. And what's even better, we have a promo code. Promo code Coffee and KOs. If you use the promo code Coffee, the letter N, KOs, at checkout, you get 20% off your entire order. It's a hell of a deal. And let me tell you, the underwear are well worth it. So make sure you go to sheathunderwear.com. Promo code Coffee and KOs. Make sure you separate the sausage and the eggs. And make sure you sheath your dagger. Sheathunderwear.com. Coffee and KOs promo. 20% off. Go get yourself the most comfortable underwear in the world. And don't forget to sheath your dagger.
Ladies and gentlemen, Fight Bananas presents Coffee and KO's podcast. We're crazy about fights and jacked on caffeine.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Coffee and KOs podcast. A very special episode. We're doing a UFC pre-fight live show with Elle Wagman and Grant Dawson when he can actually say something. He's a little bit under the weather, not feeling well. But we appreciate you two taking the time to join us on a Saturday for UFC 259.
Of course. Thanks, guys.
So we have a huge card. We have obviously two of your teammates are fighting, Megan Anderson and Tim Elliott, which we are really looking forward to both of those fights. And then just really from top to bottom, it's just a stacked card. It's almost like a flyweight Grand Prix for the prelims. There's just flyweights all over the place on this card. So I do want to we're going to talk more about the main card, but I do want to kind of get your takes on Tim. I actually like him in this fight a lot. I think that he matches up really well with Espinosa. And he's a dog in this one. He's a plus. I think it's plus 100 or 120 or something like that.
Actually, it's switched.
It's pretty even money now.
Is it? Okay.
He's actually the favorite, minus 120 right now. He's switched.
Oh, wow. Never mind. Yeah, because he was the underdog earlier. And
yeah.
We both thought that was crazy.
Crazy.
Jordan struggles with people who pressure really hard. Like he has a really great jab. He kind of does the jab run away, like when we saw when he fought De La Rosa. And I don't think that works with Tim. Tim pressures really hard. He blends his wrestling with his striking really well. And I just see him out scrambling and outworking Jordan.
Yeah.
How do you like Tim by sub? Because I like Tim by sub a lot in this one. Like I'm thinking about putting some money on that. What do you think, Grant? No?
Yeah, my squeaker box is broken.
That's okay.
Yeah, I can definitely see it. The issue is I feel like Tim's best submissions are his front chokes, his guillotines, and his darces. And I don't think Espinosa is going to put himself in a position like that. I think that he'll stay on his back when he gets taken down. I don't think he'll shoot. I don't think the sub is going to happen in this one. But I do think that Tim will win 30-27. And I have this rule where I never bet money on my teammates, and it's one, you pick emotionally, And two, you never want them to lose and then find out that you lost money on them, somehow, and make them feel even worse. So I really wanted to bet on Tim when he was a big underdog. And I really wish I had, but I stuck by my rule and I didn't bet on him. And now I'm kind of regretting it.
Yeah, well, I wanted to parlay him and with I think it was Kyler Phillips, because I really like Kyler Phillips a lot against Song Yadong. And so I was going to parlay those two together. And now that Tim's a favorite, it's not, obviously the odds aren't going to be what they were. Sorry, Steve, go ahead. I kept cutting you off.
No, I just think it's, early on in that week, you can get the plus money when you kind of go through this whole card, like you're so back and forth about who you want to choose. Like we've already made our official picks and I'm almost like turning my back on every single one of them. But the Tim Elliott one, I think, is kind of like the lock of the night to me, coming into that plus money if you could get early on. But when we looked at like his last 5 fights, like the names Davison Figueiredo, Askar Askarov, like Brandon Royval, like do you see that being like a huge factor, just like the level of competition that he's faced already in the UFC?
Tim's fought everybody. Like Tim's fought Demetrius Johnson, like everybody you just said. He's fought Brandon, he fought Askarov. I don't think Jordan has hit that level yet. And I feel like another thing with his debut, Jordan's debut, I think it was, he fought Perez. When he gets taken down, he tends to like lock down in half and just kind of be comfortable staying on his back there. And you can't do that with Tim.
Why not?
You'll drown.
Yes.
I've been there, like he's so good on top, and you can't survive just by staying there and trying not to get finished,
Yeah, I think that the thing with Tim is like he's like one of the only fighters that you can see, like he kind of went on like a little bit of a losing run, but his losses were so close. Like every one of those losses, he was in the fight. It wasn't like he got destroyed in any of those. It was like just he got put himself in a bad position or something like that. But like throughout every single one of those fights, it was neck and neck the entire time. And then it just happened, like he ended up getting finished or whatever, but it was so close every time. And then he was rewarded with the 5-fight contract, which he was even surprised by in one of the press conferences he did. He thought he was going to get cut, and he got a 5-fight contract, which thank God, because I still think he's one of the best in that division. I mean, that division, all you need is 2 or 3 wins, and you're looking right back at a title shot. I mean, so I loved him.
Watch too.
Yeah,
you'll never get a boring Tim Elliott fight.
100%. I love Tim Elliott. He's been one of my favorites for a long time. He's just awesome to watch.
And how does training work too? So if you obviously have Megan Anderson going against Nunes, like does like kind of attention shy away from Tim at all because he's such a veteran? Like he knows he can kind of do it himself a little bit, or how does that work with 2 fights in the same card?
I mean, James can do it all. Like I remember they were talking about him on Fight Pass the other day, and like no days off, and that's absolutely accurate. Like he manages to take care of everybody. Grant does such a good job being a head coach as well. Like between the two of them, I feel like our team really like is covered all the time.
Yeah, I mean, so is he going to corner both of them, I'm assuming, right? Because I mean, they are pretty separated too. Tim's earlier on and Megan's later in the night. So
yeah, Megan probably won't even be at the venue when Tim is fighting, because everybody doesn't just show up at the venue. Yeah. You show up in like squads, and so Tim is like real early, so I think he'll be there, and then James will probably just hang out there until Megan shows up.
Who else went out there? Is like Julian Marquez or?
I saw Cameron Cash was there. I saw Cash is there.
Cam's there to help out Tim, and then
Gina.
Yeah, Gina's up there too, and
right.
Then Jason High went up there with him. He's one of our assistant coaches. Yeah, he's with Megan.
I knew he's cornering Witt next weekend too.
Yep.
Okay.
Before we get to the main card, I did want to ask on 2 other prelims, just because we got veterans on them with Joe Benavidez and Askar Askarov. How do you guys kind of see that one going? Because I think Askar Askarov is really kind of becoming like not a star, but he's 12-0. He's very, very good fighter, and it's even more impressive that he's like basically deaf, like he can't even hear, which is even more insane. But you have him, and it's kind of like a lot of like switching of the guards possibly in this card with Dominic Cruz, Casey Kenny. Then you have Joey Benavidez versus Askar Askarov. Did you guys have any thoughts on that fight?
So I was actually talking to Grant about this last night. I was leaning towards Askarov, but he said he thinks Joe B will take it.
I didn't say that. I said I think Askarov is overrated. I don't think he's that good. I think if Tim fought him again, he would beat him. Joe Benavidez is he's due for a win. You know, like he always gets to the top of the level and then kind of struggles. But I definitely think that he's due for a win. I think that he has a chance of winning this. I think Askarov's a little overrated. But you know, if he beats Joe B, at the same time, I don't think Joe B is good at all either.
I think Joby has like 5 title shots and he's lost all of them. And then obviously his last 2 coming from Davison.
That's incredible in itself. But I'm just talking from a technique standpoint. Like I watch him fight and I think to myself, like, how does this guy beat people? Like his dance is weird. He like he's just a weird dude, you know? And so I don't really know. But the other fight that you're talking about, Casey Kenny and Dominic Cruz, that's my lock fight. If you want to make money, that's the fight to bet on. I think Dominic Cruz is a underdog by like
plus 115.
Plus 115 underdog, which is ridiculous. That is the fight you should drop money on because Dominic Cruz is going to make Casey Kenny look stupid. And I don't think he'll finish him, but he'll definitely win this fight. It's insane to me. You know, he's lost to 2 people and
one was one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Right.
And the other one is one of the better boxers that you'll probably see in the UFC. I mean, he's incredible. So,
right. And just Casey Kenny hasn't beaten anybody good. Casey Kenny has struggled in his last fight. He kind of struggled with that dude. And I get that he fought like really short notice in between, but you know, still you're only as good as your last performance. Casey Kenny lost to that Russian wrestler that trains with Aljo. I can't think of his name right now.
Merab Valashvili.
Oh yeah.
Mauled him. Mauled him. He struggles with people with good footwork and good wrestling, and that's Dominic Cruz. And I am going to put money on that fight.
Yeah, I'm an anti Casey Kenny guy anyway. I do not like Casey Kenny. Like, there's very few fighters that I'll say that because I would love to have him on the show eventually. But like, that is one guy I cannot stand him. I don't know what it is. Him and Sean O'Malley, like those 2 guys are just douchebags. Like, I do not get along with douchebags. So
Sean O'Malley is delusional.
Yeah, and those 2 are like pals, like butt buddies. Oh, really? So yeah.
Did you see what they said about Megan Anderson?
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
It's like why was that even? It was just a weird topic.
What
on his podcast? It was like, would you?
Casey Kenny was talking shit about Megan Anderson.
It was weird. It was just a weird conversation. Like there was an uncomfortable question and an uncomfortable answer.
Yeah. I think it was like something about like, would you smash Megan Anderson or something like that? And that's like the terminology they use too, which makes you know that it's a douchebag podcast.
Right.
And then Casey Kenny was like, I don't know exactly word for what he said, but like he was basically saying how like she's like manly and all this other stuff. And then but it was funny because like Michael Bisping stuck up for her and he's like, I'm pretty sure that she's like a whole foot taller than you, weighs more than you, and could probably kick the shit out of you. So and then because I mean he's obviously a smaller guy. So I think a lot of people went to her defense, which I'm grateful for, but it was just one of those things where he was
cringy.
Yeah. And I think that's got a lot of people going up against him too as well. So, but I'm all in on Dominic Cruz on that one too. I like him as a dog, although he needs to stop focusing on Keith Peterson. That is one thing that he is so bent out of shape about.
Keith Peterson is winning that with the clapback that he had. He was like, "Oh, sorry, I don't actually ref the prelims." He just like dropped the mic. I was like, "Damn."
I don't know if that was really him or a meme page, but yeah. So he went to the Nevada State whatever and asked to not have Keith Peterson as a ref. And so Keith Peterson is not reffing his fight. But yeah, absolutely crazy. So yeah, it hurts me. I know that you don't like Joey B, but I am a big fan. I've been a fan of his for a long time. So it sucks, but I don't think he's going to win this fight. I'm kind of in on Askar. So we'll see what happens with that. So then we go to the main card, and this is kind of another possible changing of the guards type thing. You have Thiago Santos, Alexander Rakic. People are huge on Rakic. He manhandled Anthony Smith. But I don't. Anthony Smith also dealing with a lot of stuff, and he's also been up and down in his career. And now he looked pretty decent in his last fight. Thiago Santos has fought everyone in that division, pushed John Jones to the brink, possibly beat John Jones. Obviously, some people had it for him with 2 blown ACLs, even crazier. So I'm kind of riding with Santos in this one. That was my pick. I like Santos a lot. I don't think he looked bad against Glover. Glover is just durable as hell. He just doesn't get finished.
He has the wrestling too. And if it stays on the feet, I say Thiago will win that.
Yeah, I just hope he doesn't get kicked in the legs too much. The leg kicks could affect him a little bit.
Well, I mean, they didn't last time.
True, that is true.
I mean, he nearly finished Santos. Like, we kind of forget that. He almost finished him in that fight. Had he won that, now we're scoffing at the -170. Rakic is as the favorite, but if Santos won his last fight, I mean, he's going into title contention potentially.
Yeah, I mean, I like Santos. I don't think it's Rakic's time yet. I do like Rakic, but I don't know. I think that Santos has been in there with better people than Rakic has this far, and I feel like you have to take more stock into that when it comes into these type of fights. But we'll see. I mean, that one, I feel like this whole card, and this is kind of why we wanted to do this, is it's so hard to really, it's so close. I feel like all these fights are super, super close this weekend.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be a wild one.
And then you have Islam Makhachev, Drew Dober, which everyone's high on Makhachev. I don't know.
Counting Drew out, though. Like, Drew is really good. I don't know what my pick is.
Just like him because he's gorgeous.
He's so nice. Sweetest human I've ever met. We love Drew. He's great. You love him too.
Drew, if you're watching this, she wants to marry you.
Stop. He wants to marry Drew.
No, but you bring up a good point because he finished his last 3 opponents, TKO'd all of them, and Makhachev hasn't really faced a big name yet.
And he's been dropped too. Like,
Makhachev hasn't beat anybody good other
No
than
one.
Arman. Arman's really good.
Yep.
But Makhachev is just a bigger, stronger version of Arman. And even Arman gave him trouble. I think that Drew is actually going to give Makhachev a lot of trouble. Drew does not get tired. Drew is really hard to hold down. He's got ridiculous power. And the thing that Drew Dober has that a lot of people don't talk about is his mindset. And it's really hard to see his mindset if you haven't spent it in the back with him. Like, he's not afraid of anybody. He's not afraid to fight anybody. Like, he does not care. And he totally believes in himself in every which way. I think that he's going to knock out
Makhachev.
Yeah, sorry. I think that he's going to knock out Makhachev. And, I could be wrong. Makhachev is amazing, but I think that he will beat Islam.
I think that we kind of got a glimpse of that in the press conference. Drew was like, I got a bunch of death threats and hate mail from Islam's fans. And he's like, I love it. He's like, I love how people can back their fighter that much. So I would agree. The mindset thing with him is like awesome.
Those same people are going to send him messages if Drew had turned the fight down saying that he's scared of Islam. Like, what do you want? Do you want me to fight your boy or do you want me to not fight your boy? Like, figure out what you want. Like, you guys are stupid.
Nuts. And one of our other guys was slated to fight another Russian guy, and the same thing was happening to him. It's crazy.
They are diehards.
Yeah. The MMA fans, I'm sure you guys know, but they're brutal. Like, when they fixate on one person, like, they will defend them to the death. And it is annoying at times because, this is MMA and 2 guys have a legitimate chance at it.
We had our first troll because we were talking about Megan Anderson and how we feel like she could win this fight, and like talking and breaking it down. And we posted it, and a guy flipped on us. Like, he sent us like 10 messages freaking out because he's like, I can't believe you guys even talked about this. One, we're a podcast, so we talk about fights, but he's like, I can't believe you would even waste your time talking about this. And it's like, if you know anything about MMA, you know that any fight can go anyway, for one. And 2, it's like, Megan Anderson is the first true featherweight that is going to fight Amanda Nunes. Like,
other than Cyborg.
Okay, yes, other than Cyborg. But Megan is tall. She's got decent striking. I think that her kicks are going to play a factor. I don't know. I like Megan in this one. I mean, it's tough to pick against Nunes, right? Like, she's in my top 5 greatest mixed martial artists of all time. I think she's
For sure.
on that level. But I feel like you can't count, and there's just so many other things too, like having the baby. And I mean, I have 2 kids. That shit is tough. Like, I don't know how you can have 2 kids, train, like it would be so hard. So, I mean, I know they probably have people that watch the baby. So I don't know. She's talked about retirement. Like,
F you money.
what's that?
They got that good money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's talked about retirement. Like, does that play a factor? Is she not? I mean, we've saw John Jones, like he kind of got bored, and I feel like his performances have started to kind of lack. Like he's kind of looked shitty. So I don't know. I kind of want to get your take on that, because obviously you guys train with Megan she's there all the time, and you try to train with her. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. Megan is getting counted out for sure. And like you said, it's hard to bet against Amanda. But Megan does have really great range striking. Like if she can stick and move and maintain the range and avoid the clinch, she definitely has a shot to win.
I think Megan's gonna out wrestle her.
You think so?
No.
Megan by sub. You heard it here first.
No, but for real, Megan does have tricks, and it's all about if Megan uses those tricks. Megan is 6'1" with like she can reach back to fucking Australia with her first. Like he has to use that range, and that's the one thing that like Amanda. If you look back into her fights, if you fight Amanda, she will fight you back. Like Cyborg fought her, and Amanda said, "Okay, screw it, I'm gonna fight you back." If you look at Shevchenko didn't fight her. Shevchenko tried to make it really pretty and really sporty, and Nunes said, "Okay, let's make it pretty and sporty." If you look at how Holly Holm fought
Tried
her,
to fight her, yeah.
right? She was doing really well until she wasn't. I get it, but like, for me, if I'm Megan, I'm going in there and I'm trying to make it a point contest. You know, like I'm gonna jab you, you're gonna jab me, I'm gonna jab you, and lull her into. Now I'm going to throw hard. Now I'm going to knee hard. And if any time, you start going to these exchanges, just run away. We have 25 minutes to fight. She's the GOAT. No one's going to care how you fight her. It's not about you got to do this and this and this. It's about getting the victory. If you win a split decision because you ran away and jabbed the whole time, you still beat the GOAT. So you're now the
champ. Yeah.
And it's really just going to come down to how Megan fights her. And I think if Megan uses the range and makes it boring, I think that she has a real shot.
So you think that's, going to a decision is something that she should look for, not necessarily trying to force the finish kind of early on?
Yes, that's what I would tell her to do. I don't think she'll do that, but I think that's what I would do.
Yeah, she doesn't seem like she's kind of like a killer. I feel like she just wants to go in there and kind of get the finish based on the fights that I've kind of watched her fight in the past. I said there's a chance that she could hit her with the toe in the eye. That's all I got to say. She did it before. There could be a toe in the eye, TKO. I mean, counts.
You have to remember the golden rule. He who holds the gold rules. So if you win by toe in the eye and you have the belt, that rematch is going to make you a lot of money.
Yeah,
That's
agree.
Very true.
I actually I'm a little bit of a crazy bettor. I put a little bit money on Megan by TKO just because why not? You have to.
You have to.
Are so good, like you have to at least.
And we've seen it before when TJ Dillashaw fought Renan Barao. He was this kind of an underdog. Somebody told me to bet on him. I didn't. I wish I had. Everybody's unbeatable until they're beatable.
100%.
And so was that like when that line came out, obviously it was like a big thing. It was like minus 1,200 for Amanda Nunes, plus 800 for Megan Anderson. Like, are you guys like fully aware of that? Is that something that gets like talked about a lot and you just like adds like a chip to your shoulder type of thing?
Actually changed. It's a minus 900 and a plus 600 now.
Oh, wow. It's changed quite a bit. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, that's what it says on my phone.
Still.
Oh, no, you're right. Yeah.
I mean, it's still, if you put 100 in, you could make 600. Like, why not?
Well, and I think by knockout, it was in the thousands.
Plus 1,000 for the knockout.
Yeah. When I that's what I put in. Listen, I bet Tom Aspinall by sub. All I'm saying is I'm still playing with house money. That was my bet of the year so far. So
he's good and he's huge.
Yeah.
Tom Aspinall by submission. I don't know about that, but he's dude. He's
well. The thing is with Aspinall, and we're kind of getting off topic here.
Sorry.
But his dad owned a Brazilian jiu-jitsu gym. Like he grew up doing BJJ before anything else, and then he transitioned to mixed martial arts.
And he
So I was
boxes
like,
with Tyson Fury.
yeah, he trains
No
with
big
Tyson
deal.
Fury. So I was like,
Dude.
Arlovsky can only strike at this point in his career. I was like, I'm going Aspinall by sub. It was plus 1,600, and it happened, and I was so hyped up. That was my my pick of the year.
Already happened.
All right, last two, and then we can let you guys go. We have Aljamain Sterling, Petr Yan. How do you guys? I don't know what to tell people with this fight. Like I am I have no idea. I really have no idea what to choose. I like Aljo, so I'm going with Aljo, but that's just because I like him. That has nothing to do with any logic.
They're both so good. Like the thing about Aljo is he has such an awkward range. Like I feel like he's one of those guys that can hit you from really strange angles at any time from anywhere, and he has phenomenal grappling. I'm just excited to watch at this point. I'm a huge fan of Petr Yan, so we both are. He freaking loves Petr, but
I'm sorry, Grant. Don't be mad at me.
I'm just excited to
both.
see the fight. I'm just
I like 'em
stoked to
both.
see the fight.
Do you think this is fight of the night?
I mean,
Who knows?
Who knows? It's hard to when there's so many good fights on there. You know, you have Jan and Israel fighting. You got Izzy fighting Megan. There's just so many good fights. Who knows? Like,
Yeah, this one I'm super hyped about, but I don't know which way to go. And if you know that Sterling's like grappling is obviously like what he's probably going to try to use, doesn't it kind of make it easier for Petr Yan in a way? Because you know you have the advantage standing up and striking.
no, both those guys are so goddamn good at everything. It really doesn't matter. Jan can wrestle. He can wrestle really, really well. And he's been focusing on his wrestling for this fight. Both these guys do, everything so amazing. They're the top fights. I'm picking Jan personally, but that is based solely on he's one of my favorite fighters. So if I'm actually thinking about betting against him because as it stands right now, Sterling is the underdog, which is insane to me. That's an even money fight. Anybody can win that fight. I'm going to throw money on it just because they're both so goddamn good. It doesn't really, either one can very easily, beat the other easily.
Do you take any stock into the fact that Petr Yan, like I don't think he has like his normal cornermen in there, and he had to change camps. I think he was with AT&T because he couldn't work at his other gym. Like, does that like change everything up or no?
Did you just say AT&T?
ATT. Shit, he really has taken a real downfall.
AT&T.
He's working at AT&T now.
AT&T. He's not.
Yeah, he's screwed, man. He's screwed.
Hey, back to your question though.
Holy shit, Steve.
From Siberia, like nothing phases that guy. I don't think that will have any effect on him. He's a savage.
I think that would make him better. A lot of the times when you're at a camp for a certain amount of time, even if that camp is better, when you go to a different camp, you're with different guys. You're with guys that are.
Sorry. I had to put that on there. I'm sorry, Steve.
All good.
When you go to a different camp, you've got a lot to prove. Everybody in our gym knows where they stand, and we're all trying to fight to get better and get higher on that ranking. But when the world champion walks in to a new gym, there's killers there that want to go with him and want to test him. I think it's going to do nothing but level him up. And I actually hope to see him stay at ATT or AT&T, if you will.
No, we don't want him at AT&T because that means he's out of the UFC. That's not good. The one thing I think that's intriguing about this is Aljamain's striking is underrated and Jan's wrestling is underrated. Like they're both underrated in certain departments of fighting. So it's like, I don't know. It's that's what makes it so interesting for me is I think both of these guys are equal. So I agree. I think it should be a pick'em fight.
I think Jan has a little bit of an edge with cardio. I could see Aljamain slowing and Jan getting better as the fight goes on. That's the only thing. Other than that, I do think they're both really well-rounded.
And I also feel like I didn't take a lot of stock in the Aldo win, but now Aldo's looked good since coming. Like he's looked really good over his last couple fights. Now you have to give Jan a little bit more credit with that win. I mean, he absolutely demolished Aldo.
This is one of those fights where it's like you could say any outcome at all, and you're like, yeah, I could see it. Decision, yeah, I could see it.
Yeah.
Jan wins by submission, yeah, you could see it. Aljo wins by submission, yeah, you could see it. Both of them winning by knockout, like there's no outcome that isn't like
plausible.
That isn't like, no, that's not going to happen. No way, you know? So
Yeah.
that's one of those fights where it's like when you have one of those fights, definitely bet on the underdog. And I'm going to bet on the underdog, even though I do think that Jan is going to win. It's so close. I might as well, you know, if Jan wins and I lose $100, oh, well.
We got
I
to
lost
watch an
$100.
amazing fight.
And
Right.
if Jan loses, it's like, dang it, Jan lost, but I made extra money.
Dude,
So,
that is exactly what my rationale is for the next fight, for the main event with Izzy. It's like I can bet money on Jan finish, and if Jan wins, I make money. But if Izzy wins, I'm just happy and whatever. I lost like $25-$50.
that's how I do a lot of my betting when I have people. What I normally do is if there's somebody that I don't like for example, Sean O'Malley, when he fights, I'll bet him because I hate him. And if he wins, I make money off of him. If he loses, I don't really care because that asshole lost.
Yes, that's genius.
I never looked at it that way. I never looked at it in that perspective. I did more like Steve's perspective, like you know, like
better.
yeah,
it's an insurance policy. Is what I call it.
I have lost so far. When I've actually put money down, I've lost like 2 bets because I really don't bet unless I know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. Like last week, Thiago Moises lock knew he was going to win. Alexander Hernandez sucks. He's so overrated.
Thiago Moises,
it's crazy.
Huge underdog. I put a lot of money on that, and my coach was like, "Man, I don't know. That's pretty even." I was like, "No, he's not going to lose a round."
Yeah,
dude,
Alexander
Moises
Hernandez
good in his last 2 fights.
He's so good.
There's Pedro Munoz and Rivera on that card as well. I knew Pedro Munoz was going to win that fight too.
Oh, wow. What was the advantage you thought in that fight?
For Munoz.
For Munoz.
He's so good, man. And the issue with
Jimmy Rivera
is they fought when Pedro was really young, and it was still a really close fight. And just if you watch them progress, Pedro Munoz has gotten so much better, and Jimmy Rivera's kind of stayed the same. And I really like Jimmy Rivera. I think he's an amazing fighter. It's just I thought the calf kicks were going to be really big, and I actually thought that Munoz was going to grapple him a lot because he's got such a good jiu-jitsu system. And I'm actually really surprised he didn't, because the one time it did hit the mat, he almost subbed him like that. So when I see like, oh my goodness, I've got this big of an advantage over this dude, why not when you stand back up, try? You know, and I get, you know, he wants to go out there and bang. I understand it. I get it. You won the fight. Maybe use a little bit more wrestling though, because he's such a good grappler.
Yeah.
And round 3 was Jimmy Rivera with no front leg was still landing some crazy shots.
What's send that to Sean O'Malley?
Right. He's such a tough dude. Like Jimmy Rivera is always fun to watch, I think.
Yeah.
Always agree, but I think he's always exciting to watch, and he's a dog, but he's always super
not
heavy.
A dog, he's a person.
A fair point.
Always super heavy on the front leg, like you saw it happen. He didn't check kicks. He like switched to southpaw for like 0.2 seconds and went right back because he didn't know what to do from there. Like so he has that one style that he's like, this is what I know, and he wasn't able to adjust once the front leg was gone.
Yeah, I did a wild bet, and I bet Munoz by finish, and I thought I was going to get it because I thought he was going to keep kicking the leg, and then eventually he was going to go down. But, yeah,
Rivera's
I do some wild
tough
shit
out
from betting.
Though. He is super.
Yeah. All right, so then we got the main event, Izzy, Jan Blachowicz. This one's another tough one. I feel I'm leaning towards Jan Blachowicz in this one. I feel like he's a little bit – I know Izzy's got the striking, advantage as far as reach probably, but – I don't know. It's just something about Jan being an underdog his last like 9 fights or something like that and winning them all. And he's not going to use it, but he has a wrestling background. He can wrestle. I don't think he'll use it, but I think he's going to be bigger than Izzy. He's going to be stronger. And there's just something about Jan Blachowicz. I can't bet against him. So I just put my money on Jan by finish.
He's definitely gonna be bigger. Like, the dude's massive. Izzy freaking weighed in with a pizza.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You know, like, he's definitely gonna have a size advantage. However, I know pizza sounds good. Izzy has an ability to slow those guys down. You know, like, Paulo Costa is a blitz forward. I feel like after he fought Kelvin Gastelum, something changed in Israel's game where he fought just a lot smarter and he was able to deal with the pressure. And I don't know if some of that had to do with Paulo Costa not fighting him that way.
It was because Costa drank wine. He had a whole bottle of wine.
Did you see that?
That's why.
Why would you say that? But I feel like a lot of that was just Izzy, like, utilizing the range and utilizing the low kicks. And I feel like he just did such a good job of slowing Costa down where Costa couldn't blitz in. And I don't know. I don't even know what I picked there. I think I'm still going to bet on Izzy, but.
Well, look what he did to Yoel Romero too, is the same thing. Like, and Yoel Romero was like, stand and trade in front of me. And he's like, no, that's exactly what you want me to do. Like, his fight IQ is the best in the game. Like, he uses his reach and his distance so well. The only thing is can Jan hit him? That's what it comes down to for me, is like, can Jan get in there, maybe push him against the cage and land a shot? Because if he does, I think he will go out. But Adesanya is just going to, I think, dance around him for at least the first 2 rounds, maybe get a round 2, round 3 finish, in my opinion.
Well, and to answer this question that just popped up, why would he not wrestle Izzy? We haven't seen him really wrestle a whole lot, have we?
That's
like,
what I mean.
No.
I feel like
he's a black belt.
he's fallen in love with the striking.
That always happens. I feel like Grant's like, not to me. But also, Izzy has great takedown defense. He does.
He does, yes. Against smaller guys, like against guys that aren't light heavyweights, though. I feel like Jan being the bigger guy, it could play an advantage in the wrestling game. He might be able to pick Izzy up and drop Izzy instead of just trying to, single leg, or you know what I mean? So that's kind of where my head's at, but what the hell do I know? I just watched the fights.
Fight him the way Gastelum fought Izzy, but with the size advantage, I could see him dropping him. I mean, Kelvin did.
Yeah, and Jan would not have a problem. It's just a matter of if he's able to actually physically get to Izzy, who just can work his way around anyone, it seems like.
What do you think? You've been quiet.
My throat hurts.
You don't have
the
to
last
say
one. You got it.
Last one.
Here's the thing. Israel Adesanya has been nothing but unstoppable and amazing against guys that he is bigger and longer than. Maybe not bigger, but longer than. People that he can control the range with. And with Jan Blachowicz, it's almost like he has a disdain for other people's striking and other people's game. If you look when he fought Reyes, when he fought Dominic Reyes, Dominic is tall and long,
big,
and he fights with kicks, and he fights at range, and he's really, really athletic, just like Israel. And I'm not putting them on the same level. I'm just saying he walked through it like it was nothing. Kicked his body, punched him up a bunch of times, didn't even think about wrestling against this what was supposed to be a better striker, and ends up drawing him into a fight and knocking him unconscious. That's where I feel like things become interesting. I don't think Jan is going to try to wrestle. I don't think that Israel is going to knock Jan out. And if you look at the guys that just do not give Israel respect, Kelvin Gastelum, Marvin Vettori, they've done really, really well against him. And I think that Israel's mystique has kind of gotten a lot of these guys. I think that's what beat Paulo Costa. It wasn't the wine. It wasn't the whatever. It was, oh my goodness, now I actually have to fight this dude. And once he started getting kicked up, he was like, I don't want to come through that. I don't think Jan is going to have a problem walking through that kind of stuff. He's not going to care about the body kicks or the leg kicks, and he's not going to care about the showmanship. He's just going to go in there and fight. And I actually do think that he will get the win. And I've bet against Israel in his last 5 fights, and I've blocked all of them. So what do I know?
I think Aaron brings up a good point. We have the smaller octagon as well, which definitely plays a factor. Less room to run for Izzy and work around, more room for Jan to just cut the distance and get inside.
that's a fair point. But at the same time, though, when you're world class at what you do, you're gonna find ways around that. And it is a smaller cage, and I definitely agree with that. But you're gonna figure out ways around that kind of stuff. Khabib has fought in big cages against Conor, and everybody said the same thing. He's not gonna be able to get him against the cage. Wrong. When you are so good at your game and you know what you have to do in your game, the cage size doesn't matter. Cage size never matters.
I think that we should make that a t-shirt. Also, I feel like the small cage, like going from the small cage to the big cage, it's been going on now for a while. Like, it's not like COVID just happened yesterday. Like, it's been going on. I feel like almost everyone's been in the big cage and the small cage. I feel like at this point, people have kind of,
they've had the small cage before COVID too. So
yeah, it's not like it's brand new.
And not to mention, when you're fighting normally, you fight in small cages. When you're not in the UFC, you fight in these tiny ass cages where you're literally like this with your opponent. So, and you figure out ways. Then I know you're not fighting as high level guys, but you figure it out. Real champion, use the hand they're dealt, and they figure it out.
Do you think Izzy coming in at 200 pounds, does that matter? Does that 5 pounds actually matter?
Weight only matters when there's grappling involved.
Wise words right there.
From a grappler himself.
True. Yeah. Good point. What do I know?
I can't see Jan engaging in the wrestling.
It's not going to happen.
It's just because he hasn't done it. Like, he has an advantage there, but he just doesn't. He's just started knocking all these heads off people's shoulders, and he's just like, screw this. Like, this is awesome. I'm cashing bonuses. I don't need to wrestle.
Well, he's fought a bunch of like really big power strikers, and he's never once like even thought about wrestling. He fought Thiago Santos, who we now know sucks at wrestling, and he said, "I'm going to try to knock this dude's head off," and he paid for it. He would rather pay for it than go that way. I don't see him wrestling in this fight. I really don't. And he's going to go out and fucking single leg him, and I'm going to be wrong. Whatever.
He's going to sub Izzy. He'll just sub him, and then that'll be like, no one expected that. It could happen. It could happen. I know Aaron put money on it, but Aaron puts money on everything. He's a wild man. So anyway, guys, hey, we really appreciate you taking the time on a Saturday. Grant, we appreciate you grinding through this and talking a little bit. And we hope to have you guys on again here in the future, both of you, and we can do another fun show. We'll do it after Grant's fight.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Much better.
There you go.
But you can eat pizza. We'll eat pizza on the show. How about that? We got a pizza party.
Pizza party.
KOs and pizza.
Sounds good. That would work.
Like our spin-off.
The whole logo and everything just for our episode.
We can make that happen. All right, everyone. That's going to do it. Grant, Elle, thank you guys. Make sure you check out our merch store. I got my Greg Hardy Inhaler shirt going over here. So make sure you check that out. And also, we're sponsored by Sheath Underwear. Go to sheathunderwear.com. Use promo code Coffee and KOs. Get 20% off your order. Don't forget to sheath your dagger. Thank you, guys.